As per usual, we will start off with a prayer, and I've asked Billy Barnesfield to lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for our blessings. Lord, we just thank you for this Easter weekend and all that it means. Lord, we pray for this meeting tonight. Just pray for each one to respect the others and respect this board, and this board to respect everyone. And just pray for a good meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
I will promise the board members that we will be out of here by halftime of the big game tonight. So, but we're here to see to the needs of this community. And tonight, with Adam being gone, Sean will be taking his place, and we'll be relying on him for any information we have. Everybody has the agenda in front of them. Do I have a motion, or is there any changes to the agenda, first of all, Sean? Any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as written? So moved by Mr. Parnell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by, is it Cisco? Okay. We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes from the March meeting? Okay. Are there any changes that needs to be made to the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the minutes for the March 2nd, 2026 meeting?
So moved.
So moved by Mayor Tennant. A second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesfield. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. At this time is the time for our public forum. At this time, we allow the people in the audience to come forward to state any questions or concerns you might have on the related topics. If you do come, we ask you to state your name and address. We ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. And at this time, is there anyone like to address the board? Yes, sir. Come to the microphone. State your name.
David DeGrella. I live at 202 Pear Orchard Drive.
Okay.
And this is concerning what you got up on the screen, item number 4, to rezone this property at the corner of Hitt Lane and Old Springfield to commercial. I am the next door neighbor to this property, and I am opposed to this. And the encroachment of commercial operation into a neighborhood is a bad situation. We need to keep the commercial property and the neighborhood residential property separate when we can. And the creek running along Hitt Lane forms a good natural buffer between commercial and residential, and it should remain that way. Also, we got to keep in mind that Hitt Lane and Old Springfield Pike are old country roads, narrow, that already have heavy traffic on them, especially Old Springfield with the development that's further on down towards Licton Pike. Has very heavy traffic, and now if you put a commercial operation on it, it's only going to make the situation much worse and just make it intolerable trying to get out. So, I mean, that's basically it. We really need to think this over, what harm is going to come with this becoming a commercial operation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board? Please come to the podium and state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Rick Rowe, 315 Isaac Drive on the back side, the narrow part of that property.
15th house across the railroad tracks from there. And I'm here basically just a neutral party, just trying to learn information just as anyone else is to see what is the intention for this property. And I find myself kind of in a little bit of a pickle because the late Mr. Benz and my father were childhood classmates in Inglewood, grew up, and our family as such have been intertwined since then, those days, and to now. So I have a concern, wanting to every reason for them to do what they want with their property, to sell it. I've been concerned that it hasn't sold in these years when he's had it on the market. So I would be the first to say, yeah, let's do this. Let the market respond. But I'm also concerned, as this previous gentleman spoke, regarding the traffic situation. We've noticed in the past few years, and I'll say I've lived at that property for 35 years. I don't know if these Google Maps or whatever is routing everyone on these back roads to come through there. But when I come to the end of my street there are many afternoons, and especially my wife goes to work, working nights, we can't even turn left there to go out to get onto the main road, what I would call Dickerson Road, or that main Highway 31. So already to think that they were going to, without any kind of road changes or anything else, to bring in more traffic is just seems impractical to the point of non-workable. So I don't know, like I'm saying, I'm here just to find out. Maybe there's intentions to adjust that roadways. I mean, there's things that need to be done now. I'd make suggestions just what we have now, how we can increase, because that traffic just bottlenecks right there. Trying to get on to off of Old Springfield to turn right or left to go north to Ridgetop or back into Goodlettsville. And also when we say the word commercial, I don't know, that's just a generic term, but I mean, what does that mean? Obviously, what can that spread out to? I mean, is it just unlimited? Can be whatever we want in there, or do we define commercial as a certain narrowness to it? I don't know how invasive that can be, and that's another concern. And I don't know if we're going to be bringing in, talking about possible food service, or does that mean joints where you can sit out and listen to music? Because already last night across the railroad tracks from there, and I'm talking inside my house, I could hear someone playing a bass for 4 hours at night up until about 9 or 10 o'clock. And I'm like, oh my goodness, and we can already hear the music from the campground where they have their entertainment. We can always hear that. So I'm concerned about adding more weekend or weekly noise, whatever, to what's normally a quiet country community, which is obviously changing. We know what we're seeing now in our city is just unbelievable what we see. We can't even move hardly now what we've seen in the past year or so. So I'm like I say, I'm coming here just as a neutral party to find out what's going on, and
I appreciate that.
I would want this to be done, but that's my position on it. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Chris Howard. I live at 1810 Baker Road, and I shop at Jim's place, and her place is beautiful. If she takes over there, it's only going to increase the neighborhood. There's not that much traffic. She opens at 10 and closes at 5. And she may have 10 ladies in there at a time. So I don't think the traffic and whatever her husband does to that is going to make the neighborhood come up. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come to the podium, please. We'll let this lady go first.
I'm Jeanette Clark. I live at 6216 Layton Pike. This place, this beautiful home that is here, is special to me. My father-in-law had an opportunity to buy that years ago, and we talked him out of it, sadly, but it's beautiful. I just want it to stay that way. I want it to stay like it is. I want this to be a neighborhood. I lived on Swift for 18 years. I've lived at Licton for 22 years. And this is a neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way. Most of us were very disappointed at the apartments that were built, and that increased a lot of traffic. But we just don't need a business in that neighborhood. And I just want to voice my opinion about that strongly.
Thank you. Yes, sir, you want to come?
My name is Tim Tennant. I live at 2007 Baker Road. I know most of you all here. It's, the house here and the property that we're talking about, regardless if it's sold commercial or if it goes residential, there's a bigger problem with traffic. You know, I would hate to be in y'all's shoes right now with all the stuff that we have going on in the city. I'm sure you hear plenty of complaints, but you know, when you're trying to come out from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you're trying to access Dickerson Road, coming from Baker Road, traffic is backed up to the railroad tracks. So, you know, is there a goal for something to be done there long-term to redirect that traffic? You know, with the property, I know the owners of the property, the Benzes, they're great family, good people. At the end of the day, this is gonna sell. It's gonna become something. You know, I'm sure that the people that are wanting to do something, it's probably gonna help the area. But when you're coming around the turn where the old pond used to be before you hit Pear Orchard, you hit Pear Orchard, a driveway, and hit lane. So my suggestion as a commercial business owner in this area, property owner, you know, what can you guys do to put some stipulations on them being successful, but also limit, and the word commercial, is there property tax? Are they gonna pay commercial property tax? Or is there a curve around this where they're paying residential? Because yeah, it's gonna increase the flow of traffic. It's just that way. So can the two entry and exits, as I was explaining to the property owner a minute ago, you know, can they be redirected over to Pear Orchard so that you've got two points of entry to flow the traffic instead of four? I mean, there's got to be some simple things that could be done and that would help their business and would help the flow of the traffic in and out of that area. And if you don't know that the statistics, I've got plenty of pictures on how far that traffic backs up. It's not a problem. But you know, the property is going to sell. It would be great to see something go there that would enhance the Goodlettsville and help it. But the traffic's definitely going to have to be something that's taken into consideration, how they flow in and how they flow out of that business. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Susan Tennant, and I own property on Hit Lane. And yes, we all know about the traffic. Would there be a way, and I know you guys would have to involve the state of Tennessee probably, to have a turn lane going for the folks going up 31 and 41? I'm trying to just get to Goodlettsville. I'm in that one little lane like everybody else, but I wait for red lights just to turn right. Would that be any sort of solution? I don't know. That's not my idea. That's my daughter-in-law's idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. I came in here fully opposed to anything commercial going in there just because of the traffic. Having spoken to the lady and gentleman who wants to buy the property, I think Chick Artique would be a great fit for that house. Their decor, this lady said 10 cars. I probably never see but 6 at the corner, and that's including Chick Artique and the Rust and Ruffle place. So I really don't think they're gonna add traffic like a wedding venue would or a full-blown restaurant might. And talking to them, and I don't know if you guys give them an opportunity to speak, they are thinking about maybe a little coffee shop, but maybe not a little coffee shop. So I changed my mind once speaking to them. They want to keep that house as historical as possible. I think everybody that lives in Goodlettsville would appreciate that greatly. So I say give them a try. That's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you. You can come next, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Jane Coates, and I live at 226 Swift Drive. I've lived in Goodlettsville my entire life. And this corner right here is a beautiful, beautiful corner with a nice park across the street. When you pull up off of Hit Lane to turn right on Springfield, you can hardly see around the corner now. We add parking spaces there, and you've got cars that you're going to have to look around if you can. So the traffic is bad. But another thing is, it is a residential area. And that's a beautiful place to start, that residential area. Back is right there. I don't think we need to add any commercial property there at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
My name is Mindy Manley, and I live at 304 Mystic Hill Drive in the subdivision where you turn right from there to go down Hit Lane. I'm representing 50 years of family in this community. I clocked it today when I turned to get my nephew, which was really hard to turn off of Licton Pike onto go to the back way home. 0.5 to 0.6 miles, where my family has approximately 16 acres that run. I live on Mystic Hill, but my mom and my sister live on Brookchurch Pike, and their property is backed up to where the creek is on Hit Lane. Their property runs there. So traffic is a huge concern just going from my house to my 84-year-old disabled mother's house now, just on Hit Lane with the cut through. Our concern is the traffic, and if it's zoned commercial, where does it end? I'm sure these people will put a lovely, beautiful, rebuilt home in there, but what happens if in 5 years that property is already zoned commercial? What's next? It's been already zoned commercial, so then what are we looking at? A MAPCO, a coffee house? Okay, what about a Starbucks? I mean, where does it end? You know, what about Amazon trucks? What about delivery people? You can hardly see taking a right out of there. That's that's where I got to come in and out of, like I said, to pick up a nephew from school every day. I can barely get out of there now. When you look to the left where the beautiful park is, you can hardly see cars that are flying if they can even get that much speed before they're stopped at the red light. There is just so much congestion already. I agree, we do not want commercial property in our neighborhood. Again, that is in walking distance from my whole family. And once you open that up, we're a nervous wreck of what happens then. We've seen the growth in Goodlettsville. We're busting at the seams. We know that progress has to take place to move forward, but this is not the right direction for our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
My name's Curtis Benz. My parents have been at that house for 40 years. They're the one that restored it from the Garretts. They bought that in 1985. My mom had antiques. She made it what it was today. My parents gave the city the 10 acres across the street for that park, gave it to the city. And if you guys know remember my mom and dad, many, many times they had the Chamber of Commerce at their house for breakfasts. Daddy has been a part of this community for a long time. One of the reasons that we're so excited about Cheek Artique is that house has been there over 200 years. They're going to keep it, they're going to restore it. They're going to keep it similar to the way my parents had it. People can come visit. Or do you want somebody to come in there and buy it and knock it down and build 6 houses in there? Because that could happen very easily. The other thing here is traffic. Hey guys, there's traffic. They're not going to bring in that much additional traffic. That's not a big deal. It's already a big deal, am I right? I know, like I said, 3 to 5 every afternoon, that thing's backed up. So having a business there is no different than me having a family get-together over there with 35 or 40 people like we've had many, many times. There's no difference. And the fact that these people have already been in the city with their business and they're good people, they want to do what's best for that property. And they're going to honor my mother by making part of that house look like it is now. They're going to restore it. Do you understand that house was in the Civil War? It was knocked down and those first 4 rooms were built in 1848. They're going to keep it that way. And, you know, we're thrilled what's going to go in there. They're a good Christian couple. They're going to do what's right by the community. And as far as traffic, that's not going to be a big problem. It really isn't, because it's already a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Leanne Benz. I'm Curtis's wife, and I'd like to point out the fact that so many of the neighbors that I've heard speak here, except with the exception of this nice lady back here who made a point about could it turn into a MAPCO or something of that nature. But what I'm hearing mostly from the people who are against it is not that they're against the plans that are going in there, they're against the traffic. And that's a legitimate concern, but that's always been a legitimate concern there. And this business is not going to make a big dent in that problem that does need to be addressed. But the couple who wants that property should not be denied because of a problem that exists already. And as Curtis said, we had regular family events over there with 30 or 40 family members regularly. And I'd just like you to consider that a lot of these concerns are not about what these lovely people plan to do with this property, but their concerns are about traffic that needs to be addressed, but not on the backs of the people who are trying to do something really wonderful to maintain the historic value of that house. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
There went my phone. Chuck Howard, 1810 Baker Road. Couple questions. Does the sewer go up to that house?
I don't know.
Because if it does, then you can divide it up into quarter acres and put little multiple homes. You could be zoned for that and have a ton of homes there. So you could tear down that house and the other house and build something, a lot more homes and a lot more traffic you could put in there if the sewer's right there. And I would imagine it's pretty close, because if you're like my partner would come in and develop that and run the sewer himself to it and put, several homes in that area. And it would be, that's Davidson County, so you could do that. The idea that they want to come in, and there can be stipulations that they keep the house, they don't tear down the house. Maybe Goodlettsville makes that house into some kind of special thing that you can't tear down. Then you're on the hook to keep it up forever. But the idea that we would deny them to keep that house the way it is and keep the beautiful thing the way it is, we got a whole row of very bad-looking things in this city. The idea that you want to keep them from making this thing into something great, it's beyond me. And the traffic, yeah, the traffic sucks. That's the only way to say it. But you know what? That has nothing to do with that piece of property. That has to do with everyone in Nashville being routed around off the interstate. When the interstate gets done, it will alleviate a lot of the traffic through here. And other than that, this will be something good. You know, I like what they did with that chic artique. It's not my thing. I don't like that stuff, but my wife shops there a lot. And it's like, do I want to have something that close so she can go down there and spend more money? No. But that's going to be something great. And the idea that and I'm pretty sure the sewer's pretty close to that, I'd tear it down. I'd bring in my partner, buy it, tear it down, tear that house down, and put as many homes as I could on those quarter acres. That would make a profit. But they're buying it for $1.4 million right now. The idea that we're going to penalize them is beyond me. Just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Anyone else? Remember to keep your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Sorry.
It's all right.
My name's Mark Paul. I live on 7965 Old Springfield Pike.
Are you one of the ones who are buying the property?
No,
Okay, that's right.
no, we're a resident there. My wife's family goes way back in Goodlettsville. Her parents owned the Dairy Queen here.
Okay.
For years. We've lived on Old Springfield Pike for years. And this particular piece of property, we watched it be rehabbed, rebuilt, whatever it was, for it seems like a couple of years. And then we were quite surprised to find it proposed to be commercial, which is extremely, when you open that door, I don't know that that door can ever be closed again. And we looked up the definition of planned unit development before we came here. You can Google it, and it says multiple units. So I see some people that want to have one coffee shop or restaurant or whatever it is. And my problems really boil down to 2 things: the commercialization of it and what happens once these people, whether they're good people or bad people, is not my concern, but the problem is once it becomes a planned unit development, you can't unplan it, development. And the other is, as everyone else has said, the traffic is horrendous here. We can't get out sometimes to go get our dog from a groomer or something. So it's a very serious problem getting in there with emergency vehicles or one thing and another. But really what sticks with me is once the door opens to commercial, all bets are off and it's going to be commercial. So it could be a bed and breakfast or whatever the people want it to be now. And I'm not aware of any binding legal language that could be put anywhere that say you can never change anything. Because even the Carter House in Franklin has been changed, rebuilt, redone in certain ways. So that's pretty much it. I didn't know about sewers or coming that far out or where we live, but I think I've covered everything. Yeah. So I know the people are probably very nice. They've done a good job with the storefront businesses they have there. And I'd like to believe everything that I hear from the Goodlettsville City Council, but then I look at places like Tara's Antique. The windows haven't been washed in that thing on Main Street in Goodlettsville, in our hometown, for years. And I've called and written about it, and it's just this nasty situation. So I wonder if you can really get a bit in this horse's mouth to make it go where you want it to go. But for me, after the bunker up behind Steve Ray's house, that's a horrific thing to have to open your door and look at that monstrosity, whatever it is over there, a big truck yard or something. But that's bad. The traffic is just horrendous, and pretty much that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Tori Wilt, and I live at 575 Brick Church Pike. And my sister is Mindy Manley, and she spoke. We've been here in this Goodlettsville area for 50 years. There are 4 generations of family that still live in Goodlettsville. I'm proud to call Goodlettsville my home. I admire these people for what they want to do, but I don't know if their roots are deep in Goodlettsville. I know their business is. What concerns me, like the gentleman just spoke before, once you zone that commercial, heaven forbid if her business goes out of business, that property will stay commercial, and who knows if somebody will come in, tear it down, what may go up in that area, because I don't know that they can go back to residential at that point. So that's the main concern for me. Traffic is bad. It seems like Goodlettsville, I know, is growing, and when I see all these homes that are going up, we don't have any of the homes, it seems like, anymore that are 1 and 2 acres. It's all these houses that are coming up, and just the growth. It's to me, it's scary. I've got 8 acres down Brick Church Pike, and it's 3/4 of a mile off there, and I'm thinking, that's going to hopefully pass to my son one day. And I just hope that he does the right thing with it. I understand this family wants to sell this property. It's been in their family for so long. I understand that. But could you not maybe just buy it and live there instead of doing a business there? It just scares me. Again, my sister talked about the traffic. People are talking about the traffic. I work in Nashville. I have to drive up this way all the time, cutting down these little side streets to avoid Dickerson Road. It's a disaster. If you don't live in Goodlettsville and work like in Nashville, you may not understand that, but even on the weekends, to try to go out and to go to some of the stores and things in Goodlettsville, you kind of just want to stay home and not go anywhere because of the traffic. But again, I know it's a tough situation. I just hope y'all do the right thing. And again, it scares me because I don't know down the road if we zone that commercial, what's going to happen. Are we going to stretch it out down the road? So thank you.
I see no one else coming up front. Is everybody through now? Seeing nobody wants to speak anymore, do I have a motion to close the public forum? I have a motion by Ms. Wheeler, a second. Second by Mr. Parnell. All those in favor of closing the public forum say aye. Aye. Public forum is closed. Now, thank you for all your comments. And we take your comments very seriously. And we ponder on them, we think about them, and we want to do the right thing for Goodlettsville. We try very hard to do that. Sean, we're ready for item number 4. Jonathan and Jenna Rumel request recommendation to the City Commission to rezone the 4.54 acre properties at 7723 Old Springfield Highway from agricultural to CPUDL. We have you representing this, and we'll let Sean take it from here, then we'll go to you.
All right, thank you. We can start with our staff review on this request. As you mentioned, the request to rezone the property from agricultural to the commercial plan unit development limited. This request would be for the proposed use of the property as a retail and possible food service commercial use. As part of the request, under the commercial PUD limited, all of the permitted uses within that would be part of the request. You'll see that the property that we have on the map there, highlighted in red, and we'll go through a couple of different maps, but return to that property. Under the recently adopted comprehensive plan, this property is located in the Residential Neighborhood Preservation District, also at the boundary of the commercial corridor plan designation, and that's in the blue. Colors are a little bit difficult to see, but the residential neighborhood preservation would be this salmon color, depending on what screen you're looking at, and then the commercial corridor plan would be in blue. You'll notice that the adjacent property, the RV park, is currently zoned general commercial. That's situates along Springfield Highway. And then also the park has been mentioned, Metro Nashville's Mansker Creek Park, which is located across the street. So looking at the surrounding zoning, on the northwest side, we've got the R25, or low-density residential, consisting of residential homes and vacant properties. We have as I mentioned, on the north side, the park, and then we also have in the light purple, the southwest side, or the southeast side, we have the commercial services or the campground. On the south side, we have more of the R25 in red, low density residential. And then on the southwest side, we've got medium density residential, or the R15 district. And you also notice the railroad tracks that run along the back side of the property. Taking a look at this table that compares the changes in eligible uses at the property with the existing zoning with agriculture. You have a number of these uses that under the proposed zoning for the commercial planned unit development limited, you'll notice the differences between what's currently not permitted there versus what would be permitted under the new proposed zoning. And then those that, based on the proposed zoning request, the food and beverage services and the general retail trade was what they had identified as the activities that they would be proposing. Then just some of the, within this zoning district, some of the standards that would apply. I think as we get into this, some of the parking and buffer and screening requirements would come into play. A lot of you have seen the property, but just kind of a snapshot of the existing conditions. A little bit hard to see with the sun in the background. So the proposed parking plan, this is one item that was submitted as part of the request to add additional parking to support the commercial uses, as well as provide some ADA accessible spaces. A little bit more detail, as you can see, the circulation of parking and the number of spaces within that entrances. I think we have about 30 spaces proposed as part of this conceptual site plan. And then as we get into the kind of the buffering, the kind of two aspects to show here of potential expansion or additions onto these structures in the back. One potentially for restaurant, one potentially for storage, and then also some landscaping to buffer between the existing site and surrounding residential units. So I have three motions, three potential motion options. One would be to recommend to the Goodlettsville City Commission approval of the CPUD Limited Zoning District based on the Planning Commission's determination during the meeting that the proposal is in compliance with the city's comprehensive plan. Recommendation of denial of the CPUD limited zoning district based on the Plan Commission's determination during the meeting that the proposal is not in compliance with the comprehensive plan, or a deferral of the request. And staff has recommended option 1.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll turn it over to you now. Could you state your names, please?
I'm Jenna Rummel, and this is my husband, Jonathan Rummel. And we currently own Chic Artique, which is located almost directly across the street from us. And I, too, can share all of your concerns about traffic. It's a mess right now. I am hoping that when the interstate construction is completed, that will alleviate a lot of this, because I've been in business across the street here for 10 years. We've been in business 12 years. I've been across the street for 10 years, and I've never seen it like this. I've never seen all the back roads backed up as much as it is. What we would love to do is to relocate our business to this beautiful old home, and we would like very much, it's 2 minutes down the road from where we currently are, just 2 minutes down the road. So I do not feel like the traffic impact will be that great just from us moving our business from here to there. We currently are already, the current traffic that is coming to Goodlettsville is already part of Goodlettsville, so it's not gonna bring additional traffic to Goodlettsville. And I do want to say that we love the home as it is. We plan on keeping it as much like it is as we possibly can. We have an exciting plan to renovate it, and most of that is cosmetic to renovate the home. It is a beautiful old home. As mentioned earlier, it was built in 1804, and it is an absolute dream for someone whose business is to make homes beautiful, to have a place like that, to have my business. You know, Goodlettsville's been a wonderful place for us to do business, and we're very excited about this new prospect. One of the, I don't know if you've been to the property, if all of y'all have been to the property, but it does have a circular drive, and we have a plan to include parking, which I think he went over and he showed that on the screen. So one thing we would like to do is have a designated in and a designated out. My husband and I currently live in Springfield, which is right up the road, and we, for one, would be taking a left when we go out of that, so we wouldn't be adding to the traffic going to the right. And a lot of people I know come from Springfield. Clarksville or wherever when they come to shop with us. So a lot of the traffic will be going the opposite direction, and we'll be taking a left out of there. We're very excited about that. We do hope, I've heard some rumors tonight of a restaurant, but we do hope to put a coffee shop in the back building, which was Mr. Benz, as he spoke earlier, he told you how his dad had.
On the extreme right, and for a home, is that correct?
Well, we're just not looking to change it to commercial, the third lot.
Okay.
We're not looking to do we don't have any plans. It's part of the subdivision, and we don't have any plans to do anything with it,
Okay.
one way or the other. It's not part of the request. We plan on leaving that alone and residential.
Okay. And there's not a house on there now, it's just vacant land?
It's just empty.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, I will turn this over to the board and for any questions you might have.
What is your current commercial property across the street? I missed that.
Yes,
What-
sir, it's across the street, 132, 134, and what is it?
Yeah.
Are you asking for the address? It's Home Decor. I'm sorry, I thought you asked for the address. It's Home Decor. We started in the middle building across the street, and we've expanded to both sides over the years just because it has been well-received in Goodlettsville.
So are you planning on moving that out there? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have another business going in this one. We've already sold it, and we have another business coming in it in February of next year. And we were very careful to who we sold it to. We had offers from vape shops and lots of other places that called us. We didn't want anything to do with that, and we sold it to a boutique who sells mainly clothing.
Any more questions?
One more thing I just wanted to add is it is next to the RV lot, which I hear wonderful things about that RV lot. It has a great reputation. But I think, it has been on the market for 2 years, and I don't think a lot of people are willing to live right next to the RV lot. And I feel like Chic Artique, maintaining the home and restoring it would be a nice buffer between the RV park and the residential community, which we, would be right there in the middle of it.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, traffic's been talked about. I think we don't need to rehash that. The two questions I have really are with lighting and noise. If you are thinking of closing at 6, I can't imagine there would be any late-night lighting issues that would flood the neighborhood. Is that correct? Don't plan on doing any major?
That's correct. There's already one parking light on that property, and we're hoping it works. But, it's already there, and it's been there a long time.
Okay, and any late-night noise?
We have
Bringing
never
a band
produced
on.
late-night noise over here, and I don't suspect that we would. We have had a couple of after-hours events. The latest we've ever gone to is 7 o'clock. But it's not it's not anything that produces noise outside the building,
Okay.
Being home decor, we're pretty
Laid back.
meek.
I would say on lighting, to the extent that we would need any lighting for the parking area during certain times of the year, we would want to have something very tastefully done that's more street lamp style, not something that's real tall parking lot style that might be intrusive.
Okay.
But something that'd be very complementary to the
Time
historic nature of the house and things.
Sure.
Let me, Sean, would there have to be a lighting plan for this?
We could look at that as part of the preliminary site plan.
Okay. Any other questions? Cisco?
Yes, sir, please. Mr. Romo, just a couple questions. Just bear with me. I got a bunch of scratch notes here. So, first thing I know with deliveries that you receive, what are the the times for your delivery?
Well, that would definitely be within our open hours, which is 10 to 5. We generally receive deliveries around, usually from noon to 2 o'clock. So, it's not going to be anything early in the morning or even during rush hour. The delivery people are usually out of there by 3 o'clock, and we don't see anything come in at the end of the day.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What kind of delivery is it? Is it a semi-truck? Is it a delivery truck like Amazon? What is that?
I mean, we get delivery from all kinds of businesses. We order our merchandise and it is delivered to our store. Most of them are FedEx and UPS that are the regular FedEx and UPS truck. We do occasionally get larger deliveries, but usually we get 1 or 2 boxes from the FedEx or UPS. Occasionally we will get a larger delivery, but it's not something that happens every day.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, you're good. You're good, Mr. Chairman. So, okay, so stipulation, hours of operation, 10 to 5 now, and that's what you're planning on doing, right?
I've toyed with 10 to 6, mainly to be on the outside of that heavier traffic time. But right now, we're 10 to 5, and that's what we've been for a very long time.
Closed on Sundays.
And we're closed on Sundays.
Okay. And how about for the proposed coffee shop that you speak of?
I can't speak for them exactly. I don't know exactly their hours, but I think they were planning on mimicking ours unless they had something earlier in the day. But last time I met with her on the property, she suggested that they mimic our hours.
Okay. And let's see. And so I know the lot touching Pear Orchards, we talked about that. The buffer's been you wanted to propose putting the buffer there, and that lot stays residential.
That's right. That lot will stay residential in addition to landscaping to create a buffer that's currently not there.
Okay. And I think you noted this, but as far as, one of my concerns is if this does pass, is the protection of the Garrett house, to keep it intact with the family and the history of Goodlettsville. I know it's not on a historical register, and maybe, Sean, that's something can be discussed, or if this does pass, it could be just put in the motion that the house would never be torn down. Okay, so here's the concern. I understand what you guys are saying, what you guys have proposed, but some people have concerns that if 5 years down the road you decide to sell it, retire, what have you, that sells it to a commercial developer and they come in and try to tear it down. So, me speaking for those people who's reached out to me, I'm thinking to protect that and habitat the house, keep it protected.
We would not be opposed to a deed restriction added to the property to preserve the house.
Okay.
As long as possible.
Yeah, as long as, certainly if there wasn't some tragedy that destroyed it, with a natural
Right,
disaster,
and I think that would,
fire or something.
that would coincide with whatever historic registry that we could look into about doing. And I know that kind of opens up a lot of worms and kind of thing, but just to preserve it. So I'm glad to know that you're on board with that.
We're not wealthy people. So whatever we put into that house, we're doing it with thought to, continue doing business there. We're not the kind of people that are just going to come in and rip it all out and redo it. We're very much wanting it to stay as much like it is as we can, and keep it as true to the original home as possible.
Sure. And I know that. We just have to share that for people who are asking. So I appreciate that. I'm not here to make any judgment whatsoever, so.
And we want to be real intentional about the parking to make sure it doesn't affect the trees, so that we can keep the growth of the trees there and not have some adverse impact on the tree roots and things with what we do there.
And then that was the last question about the parking. So keeping the circle drive coming off of Old Springfield and exiting on to Hit Lane.
Yes.
And so the proposed parking is in one area?
It doesn't currently exit on Hit.
Okay, but it would?
No, it enters on Old Springfield and would exits on Old
Okay,
Springfield.
okay. I thought we were making an entrance on Hit Lane. Okay, okay.
But we do
Yeah,
intend for it to
yeah.
be a one-way flow of traffic there, not in and out of
Gotcha.
both of those entrances.
How about as far as an option to add a drive onto the hit lane to get off of the main corridor? And that's just me asking.
You know, functionally, I don't see a problem with that. I think it becomes a cost issue of what it would cost to do that.
Sure. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You have, was it 30-some odd parking spots?
Yes, previously, we had met with Adam and walked through the plan with him, and I think he said based on the square footage of the buildings, I think it was 28 that would be required and one handicap spot. But I believe we can accommodate up to 30 with what we've mapped out. Yes, ma'am.
Have you all talked with Goodlettsville Fire Department related to access for emergency vehicles to the property?
I'm sorry, with what department? I didn't hear you.
Goodlettsville Fire Department, to talk about emergency vehicle.
Not beyond our conversation with Adam, but Adam met us out at the property and we did go through what would be necessary, and he's very knowledgeable on it, but we'd be happy to do that.
Any further questions from the board?
And Alex West was in on that conversation as well. He met with us out there as well, so he is aware of that too.
Okay. Well, we have several options for a motion, and I've heard no.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Has there been any consideration on, is it going to be gravel? Is it going to be asphalt? I mean, did y'all talk to Adam about the drainage issues?
Yes. It is going to be asphalt. That's required by them, and we have met with the asphalt company and worked with them on ways that we can not mess up the trees and keep all the trees, but it will be asphalt.
Mr. Mayor, I think you're asking about drainage and the square footage.
Water retention?
Water retention, yeah. The square footage of it was below the threshold that required a detention pond, is what he had said.
Okay, thank you. No further?
Anything else from the board? If you put up the screen with the motion options, please. We have three motion options. One is to recommend approval. One is to deny, and one is to defer. And there's no stipulations that have been mentioned on any of these if we were to approve. So I'll leave it to the board for your recommendations, motions. And we'll give everybody a minute to gather their thoughts before making a recommendation for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, would you allow me to ask Sean to put up the chart with the zoning matrix of what's allowed?
That would be a good idea.
Sean, can you go back to that? That one, yeah. Are there any of those that city staff is concerned about in the future? I've read through that list. I don't see anything that I'm concerned about, but I've just been looking at it for a few minutes. You guys have kind of put some more thought into it. Is there anything in that list that you guys are concerned about happening in the future? Sorry to put you on the spot.
We didn't flag any.
Okay. And I don't see anything, there's nothing gas station there or automotive repair. I don't know what automotive parking, what would what would be considered automotive parking? like a park and ride lot or something? The rest of that just looks like general retail or medical, you know, somebody turned it into a dentist office or something. And I mean, none of, the rest of that looks really fine to me. And I gotta tell you, I was a little, I didn't have an opinion when I started this meeting tonight. I really appreciate so many people coming out and talking, and so many people for and against, and your explanations as to why. It all makes good sense. And I think I would have been a little moved to consider denial, except for that third lot, which we're seeing this big plan up here. There's a third residential lot that's lot 21. If it stays residential, it's creating the buffer. And with the additional landscaping, unless there's something with that zoning matrix that's scary, but I'm not seeing anything. So I'm leaning to make a motion to approve. I just kind of want to hear if that automotive parking, what do you think?
It is what it sounds like, just parking of motor vehicles. It does exclude junk and scrap vehicles.
Okay. I mean, I can't imagine anybody paying $1.4 million to park cars, so I think we're in the clear on that. And quite honestly, I don't want to see a whole bunch of houses on quarter-acre lots there. So I move to approve this as presented.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on to a vote, out of respect for the people buying the property and our residents, I've had 2 close family members speak tonight. So as a conflict of interest, I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Okay,
Just to make that before we move on to a vote.
I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve this development and change of zoning. Now, let me make one thing. If we approve the zoning change, that would then go to the city commission. This is just a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board for the city commission to approve. This does not mean it's approved at this point. It would go to the city commission, and they would have 3 readings before they could.
Mr. Chairman, two readings.
Two readings before approval could be made. And there would be a public hearing as well, an advertised public hearing. If it is approved, that is the venue that the next step would happen. So, saying that, we do have a recommendation or a motion to approve this property, this development, and change of zoning. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesfield. Are there any other questions or comments from the board before we go to a vote?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have to abstain as well. My wife was one of the speakers tonight.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to abstain as well as did the mayor.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I'm going to abstain from voting as well.
Okay, we have 2 abstaining from this vote.
Mr. Chairman, one thing, add to discussion, and I guess we would have to amend Mr. Parnell's motion, but I'd like to put the stipulation to remove on food services. I'd like to be able to remove the drive-in and drive-through option. Under food services.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question, I guess?
Yes, sir.
More to Sean. In regards to community assembly and entertainment and amusement services, generally, what would that be?
I'll have to retrieve these so I don't butcher it. But for community facilities, or are you saying community assembly? Some of these are longer than others, so I don't want to miscategorize them. So community assembly includes activities performed by or at institution installations for various social, athletic, or recreational purposes. So these would be like civic, social, fraternal associations, private clubs, lodges, meeting halls, or temporary nonprofit festivals. In terms of entertainment, we're looking at, includes the provision of cultural, entertainment, educational, athletic services, other than those classified as community facility activities. Some examples of that would be like batting, golfing, driving ranges, bowling alleys, auditoriums, exhibition halls, movie theaters, skating rinks, that sort of thing.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I just wanted this body to know what each of those are, because number one, I wasn't for certain myself, and I felt like that needed to be defined before going forward.
Is there I mean, I like Mr. Gilmore's recommendation. Is that a problem, just taking something out like that on this zoning? Of course, that's going to be, if this is approved, it'll be going to the city commission. They can iron that out, I guess.
It is, as part of the plan unit development, it is the individual adoption for that district, for that rezoning right there. So this board recommends that, city commission approves that, then it moves forward with those or not having the ability to use it for those uses, I guess, is the simplest way to say it.
Okay.
So basically, I could revise my motion to remove those particular items, and they would no longer be allowed within that. Is that what you're saying?
That'd be your recommendation to city commission.
Okay. Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, one more question just for clarification. Sean, how about convenience commercial? We can do that too. I just want to make sure I got an understanding of what it includes. But no, yeah.
So convenience commercial includes retail sale from the premises of groceries, drugs, and other frequently needed personal convenience items, bakeries, barbershops, beauty shops, drugstores, grocery stores, hardware stores, laundry, dry cleaning, newsstands, shoe repair services, self-service gasoline pumps, excluding fuel services for trucks over 10,000 pounds in gross vehicle weight, automated car washes.
Are we allowed to literally limit it to food and beverage services and general retail trade?
Yes.
We are? Are you guys okay with that?
Could you repeat that one more time, what you were limiting it to?
To the two that are in bold, which are what we've been told, the two that you guys want, which is the food and beverage services and the general retail trade?
Fits what we're doing.
Yeah, it's what we're doing, so yes.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I would like to revise my motion to approve this request with the revision of zoning only allowing food and beverage services and general retail trade under the proposed zoning request.
Okay. We have a motion to approve this development and zoning change and limit it to food and beverage services and general retail trade. And do I have a second on this motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesfield. Any further discussion? We have a motion and we have a second. We have two of our members that's abstaining. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Next step will be going to the city commission. There will be a public hearing, and
But, Mr. Chairman, that will only be at the second reading, and in this case, that will probably be in the month of June.
okay, so there'll be, the public hearing will be on the second reading, and that will probably be, and this probably will happen in June. So I thank you for your attention, and have a good day.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
We will take a 5-minute recess. It's just on item number 5, it's just community development staff. Do you need to go? You need to go. Where are you going? Where you got to? Daughter and son have a football game at 6:30. A football game? Flag? Most quarterbacks in both leagues. How's your arm doing?
Oh, thank you. That's for our meeting. Kids got football games in 10 minutes. Just slow. They still got
Aggravating it.
6 weeks already. They're telling me, I thought I was getting out of it. They said, oh, we're 2 to 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Let's say get there.
Then the rehab. Then the rehab.
Oh, I've done. See you guys.
Take care.
I hate to run. Kids got games.
I don't blame you. I'd be gone too. I don't think he does. Yeah. Did you guys vote yes? Yes. I like everybody.
I think we're ready to continue our meeting. And Sean, I want to say I thought you did real good coming in on this, and I thought you handled yourself real well. So he was nervous about tonight, I think. So good job. Mayor Tenen had to leave, so we'll continue with this meeting without him. We're ready for item number 4, if I'm not 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Item number 5. The Community Development Staff requests recommendation to the City Commission to amend zoning ordinance sections, to define provisions for limited secondary residential dwelling units. So I'll turn this over to Sean.
Thank you. Just a little bit of a background on this one. I know it's come up at several planning commission meetings, but in January, we received comments from property owner along Caldwell Drive during the public forum section regarding permitting accessory dwelling units, which are currently prohibited within the city. Kind of came back to discuss under the, I think the additional items section in February, considering an alternative option to the accessory dwelling unit, which was to amend the zoning ordinance to include a conditional use review by the city's Board of Zoning Appeals for secondary dwelling unit on a property. And so today we have a proposed amendment for your consideration that captures some of the specifics from those prior discussions, and also some detailed provisions for the allowance of secondary residential dwelling units within the city. And so this table 1 with the proposed revisions, you'll see on the bottom. This highlighted section would be the addition of secondary dwelling, one family detached, and under the residential zoning districts, you see a C for conditional use within those, as well as the low-density residential PUD, which means they would be going through the Board of Zoning Appeals. So some of the components of this language of for secondary dwelling units, looking at kind of the number of units, so no more than one secondary dwelling unit permitted on a lot. The requirement for the structure to be detached and not attached to the primary dwelling unit. Common ownership, so the secondary unit shall be owned by the same person as the primary dwelling unit and shall not be sold separately unless that lot is subdivided in accordance with the applicable zoning regulations. The combined lot coverage and the floor area of all the structures, including the primary dwelling unit, secondary dwelling unit, and the accessory structures, shall comply with the requirements of the underlying zoning district. When we look at size, shall comply with the minimum building square footage for the underlying zoning district. And there could be a permanent reduction in the minimum square footage to not less than 1,000 square feet when the secondary dwelling unit is located within 30 feet of the primary dwelling unit. And similar for setbacks, secondary dwelling unit shall comply with the minimum building setbacks for the underlying zoning district. You could and may permit a reduction in the minimum setbacks when the secondary dwelling unit is located within 30 feet of the primary. In terms of parking, adequate off-street parking for both the primary and the secondary dwelling unit per the parking requirements of the zoning ordinance. And then there was discussion of the location on the lot, and so the secondary dwelling unit shall not be located within the required front yard, nor between the primary dwelling unit and the front lot line. And then also language regarding a minimum lot eligibility. So the unit shall not be located on a property less than 2 acres, so a 2-acre minimum. Kind of tying it back to the kind of where this originated from, the Caldwell property, we also have a example from them showing what this could look like in reality. In this circumstance where the secondary dwelling unit is located in close proximity to the primary, this would be an example that would trigger a BZA variance. So we do have 3 motion options. The first one being to recommend approval to the City Commission for the amendment of the zoning ordinance to include the secondary dwelling unit section as presented by staff, with the ordinance revisions determined by the Planning Commission. Recommend denial. Number 2, recommend denial to the city commission to not include the secondary dwelling unit section in the zoning ordinance. Or 3, to defer the request for more information. And staff is recommending option 1. That's it.
I have a question. I did not see anything in there about the style of the secondary unit having to be of like the primary unit. Is that so you can put something totally different? Different brick, different structure, different roof lines?
That's a good one. I think the intent was to match.
I don't know. Well, I was also, I didn't know, like on the example he showed, is that the drawing you're wanting to do, or is that just an example?
That is the drawing we're looking to do.
Well, that looks very similar to the house. The only difference is there's a 30-foot gap, I guess. Is that right?
It would be less than 30 feet.
But where's the front door going to be on this?
It would be on the side of the unit. And
Okay, but in this particular case, the two units look similar. Similar brick, similar style, similar windows. But I didn't see that in this proposal for future units.
I think that's already standard. You can double check, but I mean,
Yeah.
lodges that are built now, they have to match the existing house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
and what, yeah. What we're proposing to do is to build something that's consistent with the primary home, both with material, roof line, style, architecturally. That's what we would be looking to do.
Okay.
One of the things.
I understand what you're wanting to do. I'm trying to determine we're doing it right for the 10 other
For the
people
code.
who's going to come after you. Okay, so there's nothing to worry about on that aspect. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's already included in the code. This is
Okay.
just revising the code
This
for
just
these
re-
particular
okay.
reasons.
You've got 50% brick and 50% siding, and your outbuilding has to match that.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes.
Jump in. Sean, I see that we've got, I guess, conditional use approval for basically all the agriculture and all the residential, and then the LDR PUD, low-density residential PUD. But then we limit it to 2-acre tracts. I don't remember discussing a 2-acre minimum, but somebody may have. Heck, it may have been me, and I just don't remember. But I guess I just want to bring that to everybody's attention, that's in here, is because we've said even on an R7 or an R10, you can do it, but the tract has to be a 2-acre tract. I don't know, I think that's a little bit contradictory, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think with the 2-acre minimum, you're predominantly looking at agriculture R40, just based on, the inventory across the city. I want to say that the discussion of the minimums came up in February. Not tracking down exactly, but
Well, I know the chairman and I live on lots that are close to an acre. I don't know exactly how big his is, that are zoned R15. And I look at that neighborhood and I think to myself, there's plenty of room for detached accessory dwelling units at those houses, but I don't know if people want them. But I look at this and I think this is just, we would all understand it, but if somebody was to look at a property in Goodlettsville and think, well, I can build an accessory dwelling unit, it says so on this R10 lot, it says so in the matrix, I've just got to get a conditional use, they're going to be confused when they come to us and it's an acre and a half and we say no. I kind of feel like we ought to just maybe just say no off the gate in this matrix on anything that's smaller, unless the board thinks that we ought to open it up more. I don't know what everybody thinks, and it's probably already been hashed out.
I know in 25 years, this comes up about 4 times a year. It seems like, you know, what is a secondary dwelling? You know, who can live there? You know, what does it have to look like? What are the setbacks? What are all the standards? And, you know, and then we made and said, okay, let's change the zoning, or let's change the, and to me, it's a nightmare, because you can't ever, I kind of like the idea of much bigger lots being the minimum.
It helped me remember, this kind of discussion came up because the mother-in-law, the in-laws, and right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah, and I know that we've had some others come before. When I was on the BZA board, we had some come before the BZA that were denied because of the lot size. And I don't know, maybe Mr. Ellis can add something to it, but I think it all kind of comes back to me now.
And I think I was one of the ones on the lot size, so maybe we need to change some of these Ps to Ns on our matrix so that we're not,
Just accepting all of it.
yeah. You agree?
Yeah.
Right. You agree? I mean, Sean, we could do that?
Right now, they're conditional, but you're saying that you'd permit them within ag and R40? Okay.
Hit ends.
You want them to stay a C conditional, meaning everything has to come through here.
Yes. Or an N, I mean,
Or an N for the R7, 10, and 15.
right. I think that would be because we're not going to we don't want that right now. I mean, maybe at some point we change, but right now we were trying to keep it to where the residential neighborhoods like Cisco and yours, you know,
Yeah.
we would start getting bombarded by people wanting
Yeah,
the same thing.
So I think there was discussion, it would be a good idea, and I think there was maybe more discussion that it wasn't. So I think that's why we're here.
If I may be the historian on this, Commissioner. So the question is, where does 2 acres come from? So if you need to back up and look at the definition, we talk about ADUs and SDUs. And so Adam's approach was, through Sean, is to, let's move into the SDUs, because the main difference, the big difference between those two, an SDU is a tract of land that could be divided and put another unit on it. However, you're choosing not to for some good reason. In this case, you want to line up with the adjacent property owners. And so when you start backing into that, that's what drove the 2 acre minimum on there, because an ADU is obviously smaller lots, and you're putting a unit there. The difference, SDU, bigger tracts where you could subdivide it, you're choosing not to, but you want to locate it in such a way for a very good reason to line up with the others. So that's what drove the bigger lot size. And then quite frankly, actually the previous discussion, those are going to be very far and few between within the city. So that's where it came from. Yes, sir.
That's correct. We go to the BZA.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve item number 5 with the change of R10 and R7 to N instead of C.
Okay, we have a motion to change the graph to reflect N for R10 and R7. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesville. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Y'all ready to do it now? If the others will want to know, come every month.
So that you all know, it'll be before the Board of Commissioners in May and June, the second Thursday of each one of those. And one in June, just like the one prior to this, would have a public hearing, in case your neighbor back there wanted to say anything.
I don't have anything else.
I would just say, Sean, thanks so much for stepping up, and giving us the information that we need and the guidance. I really appreciate that.